Good evening and welcome to Speaker Club Saturday night number 97. Last week we discussed about taking stock, and it's time to renew and refresh ourselves and get going with the journey of what we want to become. Having said that, this week we are introducing this segment called as reflections to know how the insights and the learnings that we had in the previous session come into play, and over the last 1 week what has changed and what has transformed for you personally is what we are looking for. Because eventually, if it all boils down to just an entertaining session on a Saturday night, I believe we have other forms of entertainment. If it does not change you, it does not help you. With that, let's begin with the reflection segment, and then we'll begin with today's session. Last week we talked about taking stock. So I would just like to listen from whosoever attended the last week's session. What was your take on the session, your learnings, and most importantly, what changed in the last 1 week? Who's going to begin now? Lakshmi? LN?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Yeah, based on last week, actually, whatever we have to implement like that, actually. Whatever we take away, we have taken, I started to implement. Spending time with family or something like that. Before I will think actually. We have to spend time, but usually office is there, right? I will work like anything, just staying there. Again, after office hour, I came to home, there also start working. How that spending time, actually, I will, first I initiated, okay, instead of office, I sit to work, I can come to home. One step I came, actually, then I realized, okay, we are thinking, but again, coming to home also, I'm sitting and working up to last, actually, 2 minutes before also I'm working. So like that, now we have to change that one. So those take away last before that meeting, actually, how we can say that eye opener to me. So due to that, I have learned that one during last session, which I realized what how would need to do.
Yeah. Thank you, Ellen. That was a wonderful takeaway. Look forward to seeing this transformation eventually become a habit of change that you're looking forward to it. Who's coming up next? Yes, Akanksha, go ahead.
From last week's session, the first thing I've learned is that the self-awareness, the self-reflection is what is important. I started the week from Monday. On Monday, I was in the hospital getting the IV fluid. So I am attending a farewell party. So it was the week made me think a lot about my priorities, especially the health, since we've discussed focusing on all the aspects in our life, health, family, everything. I started spending time for both because previously I didn't really care much about my health, and that really showed. So from last week's session, the realization hit me, especially when I got admitted in a hospital. It hit me even harder. So I did learn a lot from last week's session. Though you might have seen me a little distracted with messages popping up, I did listen to it again.
Interesting. Thank you. Hope you're doing well now. Thank God it didn't fall on a Saturday. Others, we would have missed you on a Saturday. But I'm sure you would have logged in from the hospital also. Anyways, who's coming up next? Quickly, Madhu.
Yeah, for me, from last week, what I started is about my goal. I discussed what are the barriers and I have to. So personally, I noticed that just if I push myself from comfort zone to little uncomfortable zone, so that my capabilities are, my strengths are coming out. So I'm just trying to pushing myself, pushing myself from comfortable zone for the new challenges. So that initiative I started, and it seems it's working.
Wonderful. Thank you, Madhu. Sri Krishna, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think actually I thought what reflections I will share. So I think same Madhu sir's experience I had. So what I did is so agle hafte se na we have some target hikes, means training and all. So I started pushing myself to do more because next week we have to cover up now. So from next week our targets are increasing. So in that I started working. In that way I feel this session has helped. I pushed myself. In the work front, I am saying personally, if I have, I will definitely share. Right now, I don't have anything.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Uma ma'am, more so because you were one of the person I had a conversation last week. Let's see what we have from you.
Yeah, from where I am to where I have to go, I found that there is a gap. How do I cover that gap? Just by taking some action. And that next day, I was so enthusiastic that I started preparing some PowerPoint presentations for the classes which I'm going to take. And I even applied for a job, for an online job, and I got selected, but I didn't accept that offer because the time was not suitable to me. But I just wanted to know where I stand. It was a online platform for teaching students, Planet Spark. So they had 3 rounds of tests, one telephonic round and one video call round, and also a PSAT test. So I qualified in all the 3, and I attended the interview also. They were quite impressed with my age and applying for the interview and all that. But I rejected the offer, saying that the time is not suitable to me because it was from 3 to 8 in the evening. And I didn't want to accept the commitment, but I took some action and I found that I can do something, and I've taken some steps towards my goal. So I've started reflecting on myself.
Wonderful, wonderful. Akanksha, I'll come back to you. Sri Lakshmi, would you like to share something?
Yeah, Rahul. So my first step actually, I joined this Speak Up Club, that is the one initiation. And the last weeks after this session, my reflections are, I actually reached out to my mentor and I started actually whatever is the skill set gap I have currently. So I started looking at that skill set gap part. So I'm spending some time on that. Maybe it takes a year, but I will reach to the place.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Sri Lakshmi, for sharing that. Dr. Rashmi, would you like to share something? Last week, you've just joined, so I'll just share what we're doing right now. We are doing a reflection on the learnings from last week and what actions have emerged for you.
Yes, I learned a lot of all 3 of them, and you also said everything. So actually, it is changed to view, to means what a difference we are making after your lectures, after your session. So it is how I will make my difference to approach to look at life, work pattern, and goal setting. So I learned a lot. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you, Dr. Rashmi, for sharing that. Akanksha, quickly.
So I just wanted to add about how the 3 people you had conversations with had their realization and also helped us with the realizations. So all 3 of them had so much experience, yet also got the experience from the conversation. So it was a very good thing, or a very good way to interact and learn from people. Like, it was never done before, so it was new, it was perfect.
Thank you, Akanksha. So the reason why we are doing this reflection segment is because the entire idea of learning falls flat if there's no action, if there's no follow-up to the learnings that we have had. That's the reason I would like to thank Uma ma'am again and Madhu again for having that conversation with me last week. Thank you, Akanksha, for reiterating that this experiment that I had of having a conversation live during the session, hopefully it gave insights to each one of you all who attended the session last week about how there is a lot to take stock about in our life on the different pillars of our life and see what we need to do rather than just drifting through the air, through life on day by day basis. So with that, let's get on to today's session. Today's session is a very interesting one, with being a mix of open mic plus knowledge sharing, which we have done a little bit of research. When I say we, it's specifically because the background research for today's program has been done by Uma ma'am, who will be sharing a few questions that will be coming through, and you will have to guess who the personality is. But more importantly, the reason why we are sharing this is because I believed in this one simple idea. Everyone, each one of us admired the butterfly. but nobody does the painful journey that it has taken to become that butterfly. And for that reason, in today's session, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be sharing a few stories of successful individuals, but it is not limited to that. What I am looking for as an open mic in today's session is for you to share your stories, your challenges, your pain stories, your struggles that you have gone through. And why I'm asking this is because, again, I'm telling you, if we need, we'll keep it not shared on the YouTube channel. But the reason why we are doing this is because more often than not, only we know what we have gone through to reach wherever you are. And for that reason, it's very important for us to share with the people who care for us, who are part of our family, who are the extended people who know us much deeper and better. They are the ones who deserve to know what you have gone through to reach where you are today, whatever be your age. So we are looking at stories based on the stories that Uma ma'am is going to share. Some similarities between successful people who have already made it big. They also had these stories. So share your vulnerabilities, share your stories of pain, struggles, whatever it is. Here we are to listen and to learn. Do not make success a rosy picture. We have seen enough of a rosy picture of success, but the reality is the thorns which nobody talks about, the thorns which nobody sees, doesn't want to see. So in this session, what we are looking for is stories about your life, what you have experienced in your life. We want to listen to that, to where you have become, to reach where you have reached today. So with that, let's begin with the person who's done the research for the few personalities which she'll be sharing. Once she shares the personality, each one of you all can take a guess of who that personality could be. And then we'll go on to listening to stories. Anyone would like to share anything, please make a note. Keep it crisp. We'd just like to know your story of it, but keep it crisp so that we can have more examples and everyone sharing different facets of their lives, different angles of success and the challenges and sacrifices that people make as a part of it. We are sharing it here. It's all in the family that we're looking at and what we're experiencing. With that, I hand over the stage to Uma Nataraj to begin her side of the story.
Thank you, Rahul. So let me share an anecdote here where a boss leads by example. This is about a senior scientist who had around 70 employees working under him. And one day, one of the employees asked him that he wanted to leave early at 5:30 in the evening to take his children for an exhibition. And the senior scientist agreed. And at around 5 o'clock, he realized that this employee was working hard and he will forget about his commitment towards his family. And then he just left him to work. And you know what happened? This employee looked at his watch and realized it was 8:30 p.m. And he had promised his family that he would be taking them for an exhibition. So he rushed home and he saw that the children were not there at home. His wife was there. He asked his wife, where are the children? I had promised them to take them to an exhibition. And his wife said, your boss came here at 5:15 and he took them for the exhibition. Can you guess who this boss was? I can give you some clues. He was, okay.
Who would like to guess? Because already when the story started, his hand was up. Anyone, any guesses? Apart from Vikas.
Murthy, what it called? Sudha Murthy's husband, what he
No,
was?
not Narayan Murthy. Anyone else? Any other guesses? Akanksha, not Ratan Tata. Vikas, go ahead.
I was a little confused, but APJ Abdul Kalam, right?
Yes, it's Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. There's a story while he was way back when he was a boss and he was leading a team of 70 people. An interesting story which tells about what really human beings are, what a real boss is, not the one who's commanding and lecturing and telling someone to do something, but taking care of these little things which matter to the people. Anyone else would like to share a story that you have experienced either from your boss or you have done something for someone out of the box, unexpected, and still just shown that humanity still exists. It's not that formal, always job kind of a command kind of relationship that you have with people. Anyone would like to share any story? Yes, Rashmiya, go ahead.
Once when I was in India, my housemaid, means like she was pregnant and she had 9 months pregnant and she had delivery. That time doctor said she need blood, otherwise her life and her means baby life is in danger. So that time I gave her blood, and she don't know I gave her blood, and she was telling means after the delivery and everything over, and then she told somebody gave me blood, that's why I survived. So and then eventually she knew, so I gave her blood. So sometimes you feel like instead of talking or instead of dare, better to give action.
Thank you.
That is much better than talking.
Wonderful story, Rashmi ma'am. I think it teaches us one simple lesson. Here again, Abdul Kalam's story would have been eventually known by the employee. Rashmi's case eventually would have been known by the maid. How do you see the work that we do to help others? I've heard this beautiful quote. The moment you come to do something where you're helping or serving someone with a camera, it stops to become a service. It becomes a marketing assignment for either yourself or for anyone. Here, like Rashmi ma'am said, even she didn't know up until she was back and she was narrating this thing. Okay, I got to know I was given blood by someone and I'm here because of that. That's the beauty of how service is required to be done. In Hindi, there's a saying, एक हाथ जब देता है, तब दूसरे हाथ को पता नहीं चलना चाहिए कि ये हाथ दे रहा है. There's a different perspective to it. Sometimes it's said that you should say with an objective that inspires people to do more. While on the other side, if you look at it, Rahul, if you're doing it with the purpose of telling it to someone, it doesn't become a service. It isn't helping. It's just a feel-good factor that you're giving to yourself with the purpose of marketing yourself. Bikash, go ahead. Ravi, I'll come to you after that. Bikash, anyone else would, if you're able to recollect any other story that you are coming across, do share. Go ahead, Bikash.
Yeah, so I think most of us would have some or other story in our COVID times. So I was also having similar one instance wherein one of my reportee who is happened to our team lead. So he went through this Delta variant, which is very dangerous, and I was kind of not only coordinating with him, but also very closely I was following up with his family. It was very acute case. Almost 40 days he has to be hospitalized, almost in kind of ICU for the full period. So it was really a painful period for him, of course, and for his family also. It was a lot of financial demand was also there. So I tried to pull the money from various channels, Milap, and then on-site coordinators and all. Somehow I tried my best. However, unfortunately, could not survive at the end. It was a sad dismissal. But yeah, I tried my best. And, that has some satisfaction, but it was very emotional for me because he was very close to me. And I never took him as my reportee, but I always admired his contribution to our team too much. So
thank you, Bikash, for sharing that. I think we have all shown human side of us at some point or other. I think today, let me tell you again, if you're telling it here, it doesn't mean that you're marketing yourself or you're trying to project yourself as great, but just that we got to know these stories for ourselves, to see and listen to the human side of it. Ravi, you wanted to share something?
Yeah, regarding same incident was happened with me with my boss. So can I share here? So I don't know actually, Rahul. So
Go ahead.
So payable or so actually I met with an accident. I was met with an accident in 2020, 31st December. So I fractured one leg and my nose, everything. So what happened? That time surgery, everything it was done. Even she came to hospital and she was speaking with the doctors, and we had insurance also, but even though she she has given money spent for me, so around 1.2 lakhs. So and she herself she going to one hospital to another hospital, and my CEO was also there. His name was Raj Kanwar Singh. He came to my home and entire my family. So they met and they have given to me a lot of support. So nobody like that people I didn't say in my experience around 6 to 7 years experience, and many people also CEO came to your home. So nobody like that CEO, nobody like that they. So they shown their real I really they were very good. So now they were not there in, they were not working in us now. She moved to Mars International. So Sebati Iyengar, she is one of the very good, kind hearted person. So her every day, every 2 to 3 days, she used to call and how is it? She how are you? And many kind of words she used to ask me. So she's really one of the very good boss for me in my career.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's a wonderful story about how.
So even I am unable to walk, very critical situation that was financially, I'm very poor and financially suffering. So like that, nobody's boss is there, no there.
Thank you, Ravi, for sharing that. I think it talks about there is still humanity and there is humans around us. We often do not. I am not able to see or recognize unless the situations prop up. Thank you for sharing that. Let's move to the next story that Uma ma'am has to share. Welcome, Pratna ma'am.
Thank you, Rahul. I'm so glad you could recognize, even though it's Vishal.
Yeah. No, I've got habituated. For me, Pratna
Sorry,
is Vishal.
actually.
Vishal is Pratna. Go ahead, Uma ma'am.
It is his laptop I'm using. Sorry. Okay.
I know. Go ahead. Uma ma'am, go ahead.
Yeah. Welcome, Pratna ma'am. And we all know that a leader is one who absorbs failures and gives credit to his team for success. That is a true leader. So here's an anecdote related to that. During one of the launches of a space launch, it so happened that the space launch failed, and the junior scientist was feeling very guilty about it, and he didn't know what to do. But his boss said, I'm going to call the press conference and I will take responsibility for this failure. And the next time when the launch, another space launch succeeded, he said, you are going to go and address the press conference. You are going to take the credit. So who was that chief and who was this junior scientist? Can you guess who it is?
Abdul Kalam.
Okay. Abdul Kalam was the scientist.
Yeah, scientist.
Who was the chief?
It's a Satish Dhawan.
Satish
Correct.
Dhawan.
Thank you. Thank you, Satish. Thank you, Madhu and Pratna ma'am and Bikash. So the answer is Satish Dhawan. Again, a beautiful story about how after 20 years of this incident, the first incident in which Abdul Kalam mentioned about Satish Dhawan taking the lead and telling that I was the lead or the chief for this failure. And 1 year later, when he was told to take the press conference, 20 years later, in an interview, when Abdul Kalam was asked where did you learn leadership from?
Exactly. Yeah.
You mentioned in this interview clearly that I've not read books about leadership. For me, what leadership is and what I have learned is from this incident. This incident is shared in an interview by Abdul Kalam about how he saw what true leadership is, about how when it's the fall, you take the responsibility, and when it's the rise, you give the credit to the teacher or to the people who are surrounding you or the team that is backing you up. Isn't it a wonderful story? Anyone else, would you like to share any story that you can come across where you have had instance where you have allowed or taken the fall for someone, or someone has taken the fall for you, or the other way around? Any story that anyone would like to share?
Yeah, I would like to relate one incident. Like I had joined school in Bijapur as a middle school teacher there, and I was new to the school. And there was this headmistress who was very considerate. And since I was new to the school and I was introducing some new ideas of putting stars to the children whenever they performed well and things like that, I just introduced that idea, and many senior teachers were against that, saying, how come a junior teacher like this gives out some new ideas and you are agreeing for that? And she said, it's a welcome idea, why can't we implement it? That's what she said. And she took me in her good books. And after a few days, it so happened during an examination, it was, I think, a written examination, and the child knew the answers orally, but could not write. So what I did, I asked the child to tell the answers orally and gave him marks based on that. And one of the teachers who was passing by, she said, this ma'am is just putting marks to the child, though the child does not know how to write, she's giving marks to him and things like that. And then this headmistress, during the staff meeting, she supported me and she said that it is in the interest of the child that the teacher did that. She knew that the child could not write and just extracted the answer from him and maybe wrote it on his behalf since he could not write it. So it is okay, she said. So that is the incident I remember. And
interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madhu ma'am, Uma ma'am, for that. Who's coming up next? Lakshmi, go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, when you told, right, that you need to take it idea like that, how my mind is actually that whenever that Wi-Fi router is on, means it will search for idea, search for network, right, which mobile is near to that. Like that, my mind is searching which story I can collect. I can take from here, there, like that. Just my mind is going on. Still, that dilemma is there. Okay, so just actually, I store mine. Actually, when I came out from a home job, so what I thought, actually, I supposed to not ask any single amount there. Okay, if any situation, lot of situation I faced. If I'm telling means one day I need, so start I will tell. Actually, so lot of first month I not got salary because of 14% we joined the organization, 30% ran away. So they're not given salary. You are also going to run like that. So I first they're not paid salary. Then I told the PG owner, take my mobile, then I can manage something. So like that, I started my journey and everything. Then again, one more thing happened to me. I said, my marriage, I should not be asked any amount from my father. I should save another 5 years or 10 years are there. I can save like that. I started saving like that. So suddenly what happened? My junior, actually 1 or 2 years before, right? Actually, he is love marriage or something like that. He is looking for mine. My mother and all, they're looking for still looking girls. Actually, they will tell, no, she is not. I'll say she is not beautiful or she is not there, like that. Something similar thing is going on. So he got actually option love marriage like that. So I saved that money, right? I given to him. Okay, I'm not getting married. At least you can get that marriage like that. Around 2 lakhs I given to him. Reason he not having job, but so love marriage, right? So he got that one. So that time I helped him. So it actually came back to me. Unfortunately, my marriage, he only actually take my parents and came during my COVID, right? That journey already I shared with you. So actually I know purposefully done, but it's helped to him. He will lifelong, he will remember to me that amount and everything helped. So that I have done for him. Again, my boss, actually, wherever we are working, by nature, it will come somewhere, right? I asked my boss, actually, see, you are giving this much salary only. I can't take car. this is my long-term wish, not for me, my parents. Actually, my parents, I need to gift car like that. So I need amount. I have PF amount, yearly amount. So I want immediately. I told him. He said, "What is the invoice? Just to give me like that." I will ran away. Also, he is not thinking. How I am going to pay back or something. Also, he said, "Okay." That one still I remember. He is my CEO. He said invoice just to proceed like that. 3 words only he told immediately. I lifelong I remember that one. That is very special to me. Thanks for this.
Thank you, Ellen. I think that's a wonderful share. Acts of kindness will go a long way. Wonderful. Anyone else would like to share any story? Pratna ma'am, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, Rahul, now as I told you that recently I joined as a leadership role. So of course we learn out of our mistakes, and we have to be open to learn our mistakes and take suggestions from everyone. In the process of, because I craved for this position, worked hard to achieve it, because I had lot of expectations, and I was so passionate to do something. And I realized that only when you grab the position, when you have that power in your hand, then you can bring lot of changes, whatever you wanted to do in the system. So with that intention, when I joined, I was too enthusiastic in the beginning. I wanted to do so many things, and being a very perfectionist in every aspect, I was sharing my ideas, being very proactive, getting into the team, asking them to do so many things. And in that process, what I realized, people were getting into the shell. They were not coming out. They were thinking, ma'am's expectations are too high. Ma'am's expectations are, she's too perfectionist. And they were getting into the shell, and I was getting frustrated. What is this happening? When I am sharing them everything, expecting so much, but why people are getting into the shell? Then one person who is like administrator, he's working elderly person, he suggested me, Pratna ma'am, as you are climbing the ladder of success leadership role, you have to use the lazy intelligence strategy. You shouldn't be getting into that. You take a back seat, because 1+1 will not become 2. 1+1 become 11 if you take a back seat. If you get involved with them, they get inhibited and they get into the shell. Well, let them commit mistakes. Let them do whatever way they want to do, but you give them their space to do. Don't get into that. And that is a good learning lesson which I've noticed. And I am just taking a back seat and giving them little idea that what exactly I expect. That's enough. You don't believe within 15 days they could put up such a big cultural show. It was really mind-blowing, and it was a great learning lesson as we are growing older in our life also. That is what required. Speak less and listen more, and take a back seat. Even though you have seen the life, you have to keep yourself quiet and just see your children committing mistakes, doing that. Only when they approach us, we should give them suggestions. Otherwise, our suggestions and our too much of involvement make them too inhibited, and we will not see that much outcome. It is a great learning lesson for me, even for personal life as well.
Thank you, Pratna ma'am. I think interesting story, interesting lesson of how we can manage people or how we can lead and still be a follower. Wonderful. Before we move to the next story, I would just like to share the instance that I have seen and I have learned in my business, wherein right now I'm running, like our family runs a business which is having a turnover of over 110 crores last year. So as a part of that, one thing which happens as you scale up in your journey, once you grow, it becomes very easy for you to fall prey that I am the captain of the ship, so I know it the best. And as a practice, what I've done always in this journey, in the last 9 years that I've been in the business, in the family business, one thing that I've always done is the people who are at the forefront running the business, you say the salesmen or the accounting or the people who are at the ground level running in the business, I've always asked them, I've had this practice of asking them, tell me if you can do something better. Tell me if something that I'm doing can be changed or is wrong or can be upgraded. That's one practice I believe each one of you all can also think of working around with the people whom you are leading. Because we often get into this ego state where I am the leader. So if I ask them, will it be portrayed or perceived as, doesn't he know? Does he have question? Does he have doubt? Is it often a condition that we put ourselves in our mind? So always remember, whatever and wherever you are leading, it can be a family, it can be a non-profit organization, it can be a business, it can be a team, employees, wherever you are, be willing to ask. Be willing to be in a state or be perceived as a person who doesn't know and is seeking to know, more importantly. I think that's one lesson that I've learned, and it's helped me gain the respect of the employees, because they always know if they find some challenge, they find something which is not being done right. Because I ask them once in a while, they are always free to come to me and tell me that, sir, I think we can do this in this way. Let's try this out. So that's one thing which makes a difference. As a leader, be a follower. Pratna ma'am's story. Thank you for sharing that. I just recollected my story with that. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Very true. That is also very true, real Rahul. Like, we need to ask them, we should give them that importance which they like all the time. Really.
Thank you, Pratna. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I have unmuted. Thank you for the wonderful story. We need to connect with our juniors, find out how we can improve ourselves and take us to the next level. That was an interesting story. So I have another anecdote for you, which says that superstitions play a very important role even in successful people's lives. They also are superstitious. So here is an anecdote where he's a cricketer and he always pads his left leg first and then his right leg whenever he goes out to bat. And during one of his knock of 664 runs stand with his teammate, he remembers wearing a pant which was wet because it was monsoon and the pant had not dried. So every time he goes out for a big knock, he takes some water and splashes it on his pant and goes out to bat. So that is his superstition. Can you guess who this great cricketer is?
We have cricket followers in the crowd. Akanksha and Sri Krishna have already answered.
Already they shared.
Sachin Tendulkar, yeah. Wonderful. So quickly, because we're already running closer to the time, quickly, any superstition that you follow and have stuck in your mind that this has clicked for me, I would like you to share each one of you quickly, just a 1 or 2 liner. Yes, Sri Krishna, go ahead.
So I mean, so that Sami Param Volke something is there. So whenever in every exam, for exams I have particular done it, I keep it. So I feel that whenever I have it, I do the exam well, and I feel it kind of works for me. That is something I would love to share.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sri Krishna. Anyone else? Any other superstition that you? Yes, Dr. Rashmi, go ahead.
Every morning I did not resolution, but I'm just gratitude to Supreme Power for everyone, for family people, including my husband, children. So and myself, for me also. And if I will not do that day, I will feel like not like I feel because I didn't do today. That's why this happened, you know. And I practically experienced that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Rashmi. Akanksha, go ahead. After that, Vikas.
That's a great idea, but however, is it going to be qualified in superstition? Because
yeah, that's okay. We are just connecting things. We are just connecting. Okay, I'm not limiting it to school. But just okay. We are just trying to see if you have a mental space where you feel this. If it is done, this is happening. Let's just for the sake of simplicity. Akanksha, go ahead.
Since you said if this is done, this is the result, I would definitely say attending a Speak Up Club session, learning so much. That's the superstition. I come every Saturday night.
Please don't make it a superstition. I'm adding value here, please. Now I'm starting to feel. I hope Akanksha is attending.
Sir, when do you believe in superstitions? When they add some value to your life, isn't it?
No, I'm just saying. No, superstitions are negative also. There are a lot of people like a doll, a toy, something like that, where suddenly if they feel that that is not there, they are baffled, anxious, everything happens. That is also
So
superstition.
they won't go to that. But when they use a superstition, it is when it is positive, giving positive results.
Now the other 11 people in this crowd will surely be here and seeing that okay, Akanksha has come, we are going to have a learning today. Be sure of that. Okay, everyone, thank you for that, Akanksha. Anyone else would like to share anything? Madhu, Vikas? Anyone? Okay. Pratnam, go ahead.
It's not superstition, but regular practice. Every day evening, because morning times I won't find time. Evenings, if I won't do that prayer or pray to God or do some bhajans, it's like practice. Every day evening, 1 or 2 bhajans or something. But sometimes it won't be possible if any guests are around, and whenever I miss, I won't feel good. I try to manage it later also, but if sometimes it so happens, I miss out on that, then that day I won't feel good. That's something I have missed in the day. Like,
Interesting.
yeah.
Thank you, Pratnam. Vikas, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a habit of doing Sudarshan Kriya almost every day, and the day when I miss, I feel like okay, my energy levels are going down. As such, who is doing kind of very regularly practicing, their energy level is not going to drop so fast, even if one day is missed. But still, I have that mentality to keep it alive so that I don't miss at any cost. I purposefully implemented that in my mind so that I don't make this mistake at all. So that's
Wonderful.
kind of.
Thank you, Vikas. I think that's a wonderful practice and makes it non-negotiable because of your attachment to this thing of how you're looking at that activity. Wonderful. Thank you, Lakshmi. Now suddenly everyone is remembering their superstitions. I told, then nobody told. After that, 4 people have come in now. Superstition
Since Vikas told, I had to tell, right? Actually, I mind suddenly got. Actually, my friend told me he's a new astrologer, upcoming astrologer. He'd seen my actually Jataka and everything. He's shown actually your time is not good. You're supposed to go daily temple. So next to my home only temple is there. What I started believing, that day it will be whole day will be good if I going to temple. Just I will go and sit there even 1 minute. Just I will go. After that, actually my home also they realized first I taken bath and everything. First home I will pray. That's and God I will go. Then only I will start my day. So daily basis. Just I'm believing that one and going on up to April 31st.
April doesn't have a 31st. You are done.
30th,
Finished.
30. Sorry, this month 30th.
Got that. Thank you, Ellen, for that. I think that's a wonderful share. The reason why I'm asking, or why we are discussing about superstition, is that simple logic. Always remember, I've told this with whatever you believe. Always remember, people ask me, do you believe in God? Do you think it helps with whatever superstitions or whatever you believe in with a certain practice or something? I've always come to believe that stick to what works. If that works for you, follow it. But if it is making you anxious, if it is making you doubt, if it is making you challenge that if this will happen, if I don't do this, if this will not happen or something, please challenge that. So if it's as simple as going to a temple, I think it's a bonus, added bonus. Good girls will come to you also. If it's helping, do it. But always remember, the same can start to work reverse. The same can start to backfire on you if you're not wary of how you are thinking about that pre-practice for the result that you're getting. Please be sure you are in charge of how it is resulting. If you feel it's working out, if it's helping, more than happy, do whatever you wish to. Just make sure it doesn't backfire. Because there's a very thin line when it starts to become the reverse. That you start thinking this has to be done. If this is not done in this way, that won't happen. And for God's reason, for whatever reason, if it isn't happening, if you have lost something, if you have lost that toy, you have seen kids doing that, sleep with that toy. Superstitions or something like that.
Yes, that is true. Yes,
if that toy is not there,
that is true.
That kid won't go to sleep. That's how. That's the reason I say, make sure you're wary of what superstitions you're following until they're helping you or giving you more confidence. As an example, I might have some small item which is there in my pocket. Always I give a seminar. If it's helping me, it's okay. But be sure it doesn't come to a state where if I've lost that, if I don't have that, I start to doubt myself. That's all I'm saying. Wonderful. Thank you. And let's move to the next one. Uma ma'am. We'll
Yeah,
make it
thank you.
from here. Uma, go ahead.
So that was wonderful hearing from all of you about the superstitions that you hold. Even my brother has a particular shirt. He's a cricketer too. And he believes that if he wears that shirt, he'll hit a good knock. And his wife keeps telling it is almost a 25-year-old shirt. And even now he doesn't want to throw that. He still is preserving that. So such are our superstitions. So let's move on to the next one. They say that lack of financial resources should not be a deterrent for you to establish your career. And here is a personality who was born in a poor family in Karnataka, in Sidilghata, in the year 1946 on August 20th. And he believed that he was born in a poor family and he had a lot of dreams. And he became the chairman of a great company also. He's a co-founder of a multinational company. He's a billionaire businessman. And he believes if you have a dream, you can definitely achieve that. Your financial resources will definitely not come in the way of that. Can you guess who is this billionaire businessman? His two children.
Infosys.
Infosys, Narayan Murthy.
Murthy. Infosys Narayan Murthy.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for answering, everyone. So the underlying story is, wherever you come from, whatever you have, what your background is, for the things that you didn't have a control over, the simple reason or the simple fact is, it's possible. That isn't the only reason which makes people successful. Even I've seen people who are millionaires who have crashed. I've seen people who didn't have a background becoming millionaires. Simple is, if you're limiting that, you don't have the resources, that's not the case. The challenge is you thinking that the resource is much more important than what you can do about it, is the story that we're talking of. So Narayan Murthy is a wonderful case. We have seen, again, there are hundreds and thousands of cases where people have uplifted themselves from the challenges of financial woes, not having the finances, whatever, coming from a poor family and all those reasons. If you believe that that is not the only constraint, that is not the only factor for you to grow, I think there's a high chances that you will grow. I'm not talking of only financial achievements. I'm talking of who you become as an individual. Because on the other side, I've always told this as a contrary, you have Mukesh Ambani, you have Ratan Tata, you have Lata Mangeshkar, you have Abdul Kalam. Each one of us, if you look at their state, the definition of success and the way you assess their success is different. So what's important is, it's not a limitation. A poor family, like Abdul Kalam's story is also equally the same. Coming from a poor family, he went on to grow to become what he wanted to. And eventually when he died, I think there's a story also up there. He left the world with one suitcase, 3 pairs of clothes, and everything that he had was in one suitcase. And yet each one of us, I believe most of us have or look up to him as an aspiration to what success is. That's how it is. Anyone would like to share any story quickly? Anyone you have seen or you have experienced or you have scaled up with despite the challenges? Go ahead, Madhu, go ahead.
Yeah, everyone's life, definitely we come across with different people like boss or CEO or whatever, best colleague and all those things. But I noticed, and personally I gain a benefit of identifying what qualities people have and encouraging them, that really changes their life. Instead of giving, like, suppose if I have some money and if they're required, they're in need, if I'm helping them for 10,000 or 1 lakh, that's the other side. But if it is really required, that's one side we have to help. But whatever they have skills, we give an opportunity and we identify them and we encourage them. And okay, if they do little bit good also, we encourage, pat them back, and definitely they change their life. That's something happened to me with my ex-CEO, where I worked in 2004. His name is Mr. Rajneesh Domalpalli. He's a NRI. In that form, he after my graduation, he identified me, whatever his, skills I have. Then I got a confidence that I can grow myself and I can think big and I can dream. Right now, where I am now, it's I can purely say that that is the place where I started thinking about my life. The same thing, just I thought of if we can help others in such a way, definitely we are helping entire their family. not 1%. That's I'll really say thanks to God or to my boss, whatever. Thank you for sharing giving the opportunity.
Thank you, Madhu, for sharing that. That's a beautiful story about how we discussed last week about the ripple effect. You leave a drop, but you do not know where the impact ends. Today, I've just shared something which I wasn't even aware of how it has impacted. One of the person who won a district level ISC in Toastmasters, district ISC and table topics contest, he won at district level. And after he won, I was not in touch with him for the last 2.5 months. He sent a message to me with the poster where it was announced that he's the winner. And he wrote that, thanks to your evaluation, I reached to this level. I have not mentored him. I have not done anything. I was his speech evaluator in one of the Toastmasters meeting where I gave an evaluation for his speech. He said that I delivered this speech at 3 places. 2 other places, I got a superficial evaluation where it was the regular things, improve your voice, modulation, body language or something. While I gave an evaluation which was a deeper and much more about the content and how it can make an impact. And that's it. I was not in touch with him for a, so that's the reason I told you the credit doesn't go to me at all, because you are the one who has worked on the speech and practiced it and delivered and reached that level. A simple 2-minute evaluation can leave an effect on someone. And more importantly, I'm proud of the fact that he had that gratitude to come back to me and tell me after 2 months that your evaluation made an impact on my speech. And I'm at this level because of that evaluation. That's the point we're talking of. Every moment that you're doing something, I'm not talking of me here, I'm talking about him. He feeling that something happened 2 months back and he went on to share with me today is what I'm trying to reflect over here. How many times have you gone back? I did this video last year on Doctor's Day. We always call our family doctor. We call the people, the doctor, message them that, sir, I'm not well, sir, my kid is not well, or whatever it is. How many times has it been a case where after you have recovered or after your child has recovered, after your problem is solved, you have went back to the doctor and said, sir, it's all okay now. Thank you. The difference is who you are in that. So check out, just understand and look at what practice you have. I know he's a doctor, he's paid for that, but still as a human, what can we do to make this much more human and connected? That is what I'm saying. So we have a family doctor. Look, yesterday was Judah's birthday, so we invited him also, but because of his commitments, he could not come. But that's how the bond is built, the relationships are built. We go deeper with this non-purposeful communication sometimes. Otherwise, we are mostly okay. He's a mechanic, I need it at the right time. He's a doctor, I need it at that time. We become very purposeful and very specific, and it starts to seem mean that when that person gets in touch with you, you know, kuch to kaam aa gaya. Bikash, go ahead. You wanted to share something?
Yeah, I also had similar kind of instance wherein when my daughter was young, that time we had one doctor who used to be very particular, and he was not just for the heck of giving medicine, he was not giving, and I like that attitude actually. He was very carefully choosing the medicines in very least amount of medicine. If it can be cured, then he does that, and I am really happy. And when my daughter got recovered, I took a Bhagavad Gita and I really thanked him for whatever help he did. Actually, it was like, for me, it was more than what he was chatting, because I saw that in that way, and that's how I tried to build the personal relationship and gave a personal touch to that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bikash, for saying that. That's a similar incident where I remember, for the people who have been with us for a very long time, I remember Uma ma'am and Akanksha being a part of our journey then. 2 years back again, when my dad was down with COVID, it was a very challenging time. So at that point in time, the same doctor, which I'm referring to as a family doctor, was a part where my dad was admitted also. So same logic. After the dad was cured, we could have thought it's a private hospital, they're charging us so much anyways, there's a full loot and all that things that we think of. But because this is a doctor that I knew for over 14 years before that incident, the bond was there, and there's a trust factor which was built because we know that you'll be doing the best of your capability, and trust that you'll be not, it won't be that the hospital have their game, but you know us. And so he was doing the best of his service there. So that's how it is. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Vikas. Anyone else would like to share anything?
Yeah.
Yes, Lakshmi, go ahead.
Story. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Actually, today my first 5 years completed in my organization. Okay, this one. Yesterday I got another organization offer too. I informed my boss. Actually, I yesterday morning I mailed him. Actually 6 VP I crashed 5 years. I put all name and I told them this is first VP. He's hired me. He taught me how need to speak. I will not listen much. Whenever you're talking, I will crash talk and I will take over. Like that only used to do. First, he told actually whenever we're saying, you need to take in mind, you need to count 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, then only you need to start. Or else you used to talk whatever you know, also you need to give age respect or something like that. You are more enthusiastic, like that, something like that. He used to tell me, first guy. Second guy, he is still actually you need to dress like this, you need to speak like this. One more person, he taught me negotiation. One more person, presentation. I wrote yesterday one big mail. Again, one more, my ma'am is there. She is also my CFO. I informed her actually that CSR activity, everything, children's and a lot of Dasara, lot of movements I have. Like that, I put lot of gratitude mail yesterday. Evening, I mailed them actually, got offer like that yesterday. Today, my 5 years, actually, since you told gratitude, yesterday I wrote that mail around over 100 points, and they're also happy, very happy. Actually, still you're remembering this one. And thanks for the sharing like that. Even we forget like that. Actually, yes, the same.
Thank you. I'm just checking my mail right now, and I'm getting a thanks a lot, sir, while we're talking in this meeting. I'm not sure if you can see this. Oh, it's a mirror image. I'm not sure. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We can see.
The reason why I'm getting that is because that's Hriday's school teacher, and it is a normal parent-teacher meet which happens after the school is over and everything is done. Because I could not attend the parent-teacher and only Pragya attended, I wrote a reply to her wherein this is what I wrote yesterday. I'm sorry. If you can just read if it's visible, otherwise you can ignore. Visible?
Visible, not readable.
Okay, that's okay. So basically, the message which I shared with her is what makes her feel special. Otherwise, every student who is passing out from the class, okay, parent-teacher meet done, teacher ka kaam ho gaya, it's over. Next year, let's see who's there. A simple few 4-liners which I sent to her, I'll just read through what I wrote to her. Would have loved to meet you. However, we would like to appreciate all the work you have done through this year. I know this year has been challenging for even teachers as much as it has been for kids and parents. Thank you for being a wonderful and kind teacher for Ridyansh, my son's name. He will always cherish to have been associated with you during this year, which was challenging. A simple message which makes her feel that she is not just one among any other student who's going to pass out. For teachers, I must tell you, for a teacher whosoever has been Uma ma'am, Pratna ma'am, they will remember every kid. But getting a message like this from a student's parent or a student also, I've seen instances where kids write a handwritten note and give it to the teachers, and this is what makes a difference. So look at what practice are you following, wherein how are you expressing the gratitude for the normal. I remember this one line which was spoken in one of the previous sessions. Appreciate the normal, appreciate the ordinary, and you will see wonders happening. You'll see smiles come through for the things which are regular, mundane things that we do. Wife cooks, it's her responsibility. Teacher teaches, it's her responsibility. The driver drives, it's his responsibility. Don't look at it in that way. Appreciate the ordinary, and that's where you will add joy to everyone who's doing the normal work, and they'll start feeling that they are something. That's the power it has. So please, whatever you're doing, wherever, however you're doing, I know it's tough to see the beauty in the ordinary, but that's what is to be appreciated. Thank you, Uma ma'am. And we are already at 10:08, so we'll have one more and then we'll get to the close of it. Uma ma'am, choose any of the 5 that you're left with, the best one that you want to.
Everything looks interesting. But
okay, one thing that we can do, because she has made the effort, others that have used it in other session, because she has made the effort, let's listen and guess the name. And we'll, at the end, if anyone would like to share any other story from any of these stories, you're more than welcome. Uma ma'am, go ahead.
Yeah, you have to just guess the personality now. So God many a times expresses himself in many inexplicable ways and sometimes mysteriously too. This is about a Carnatic singer. She was in financial straits, and once the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam executive chief received a letter from the Kanchi Paramacharya and Satya Sai Baba himself saying that this person is in financial crisis and you have to somehow help them come out of this. And by some phenomenon, this Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam member, that day when he was praying in front of Lord Venkateshwara, he heard a group of members singing the Annamacharya Kritis. And he was wondering, this person is full of self-esteem. They will not accept the money that we give. And this flashed before him. Why not I make this Carnatic singer sing Annamacharya Kritis and make them release LP records so that they will get some royalty out of this. And that was a flash message which he got from Lord Venkateshwara to help these people. So who is this Carnatic singer? Can you guess? Her husband was Kalki Sadashivam. She is from Madurai, Tamil Nadu.
Now I know.
M.S. Subbalakshmi?
Yes, you're right.
Wonderful. So that's M.S. Subbalakshmi. Is she called the Nightingale of India, or is it Lata Mangeshkar?
No. Sarojini Naidu is called.
Sarojini Naidu.
Okay.
Nightingale of India.
Okay. Uma ma'am, next.
Yeah. Next, honesty is always an asset. I'm sure you'll agree with this. This is about one of the former leading parliamentarian. If I tell the exact title, you will guess it. So what happened is once he took a loan of 5,000 rupees from Punjab National Bank when he was in service, and unfortunately to buy a car. And unfortunately, before he could repay the loan, he died. And the bank waived the loan, saying that he need not pay it. But his wife, out of the pension, paid that loan out of honesty. Who is this person we are referring to?
Untold stories.
Well, the former Prime Minister.
Okay, here we go.
Prime Minister?
Former Prime Minister. The answer is Lal Bahadur Shastri.
Oh, Lal Bahadur Shastri.
So that's a story. I would say kudos to his wife for not using the opportunity that she had for having the loan paid off and cleared. This is something which I've seen in people who have a very high self-esteem. They do not want any instance where they can be questioned. And it's a wonderful example. Go ahead, Uma ma'am.
Simplicity is awesome too. Many say that if you're simple, you stand out in the crowd sometimes. Simple living and high thinking. So here is a person of an organization. He was heading a great organization, and one day it so happened that the employee missed his shift bus to go to that company. And by chance, he saw the company's car with the logo on, also there. The car was just passing him, and he waved to that car asking for a lift. And he didn't guess that the car would stop. It went a few yards further, and then it stopped. And then he went near, and that person ushered him to get inside the car. And he was so happy that he could get the lift. He went inside, and then later he realized that it was the head of the company who had given him the lift. Can you guess who this person who gave him the lift was?
Tata, Ratan Tata? Tata?
No. He was the head of the Baba Atomic Research Center.
The reason why we told it's untold stories is because it's tough to hear these stories. They are not often spoken of, but we look at the success stories, who is the head, who is the CEO, who's the success, and all that things that we listen to. But these are stories that are not talked about. The answer is Dr. Raja Ramanna, who was the head of Baba Atomic Center at that point in time. And the employee got to know that he took a lift and he was sitting by the head of that Atomic Research Center, and he went to the office with him on that. Uma ma'am.
Yeah. Many times your interests of your career are found when you're young itself. So they say that the seedling, when you're young, you know that what you're going to be. So this was found out by the child was young, and the father, he was very much interested in singing and all that. He had an assistant, and he was training that assistant to sing a particular rag, and by chance he made a mistake, and this small girl was correcting that assistant, and the father just then entered and saw, he was astonished to see this girl correcting his assistant. And then
Lata
he
Mangeshkar.
yes
Lata Mangeshkar.
Interesting.
Right.
Thank you, Pratna ma'am. Come on.
Yeah, just two more, the last but one. So to find a balance between work and life, you have to delegate work, and you have to give more than 100% to the work. Wherever you're working, you don't consider it as your job, take it as your passion, and be consistent, be kind towards your employees. This is what this lady business owner, if I tell her something more about it, I'm sure she'll be able to find out. A very gutsy lady. She was the chairman of this Coke company.
Oh, CEO.
Yes.
Oh my God. Indra Nui.
Yes, you're right.
Indra Nui. Yeah.
Surprising thing is, she used her personal assistant, to find out how her children were doing, her mother-in-law and family, and she used her assistant to make sure that she's aware of what is happening. So once you're at that level, you always are in a situation where you'll be crunched and with time, not having time for family and other responsibilities, but still she had this in mind that that is also important part of her life, and she used her personal assistant to take care. I should be aware of all those things. Uma.
You have to delegate work. That's what she says. No, when you're in a big position, you have to trade off so many things. You have to do a lot of sacrifices, and she appreciates her husband and mother-in-law who supported her, and her children also. The last one, never say never. This is about a great Indian author. Initially, all his writings were rejected, but he still didn't give up. He didn't take a permanent job. He took up writing as his main profession, and he created a fictitious character called Swami and his friends, a fictitious place also called Malgudi, and became a great writer.
R.K. Narayan.
Yes.
And the famous character is the common man.
Swami. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you, Uma ma'am. Now, before we close, any story that you'd like to share from anything that you connected from this? We'll have one quick story from everyone that you'd like to share from your experiences, something that you have not told anyone. You're free to share here, and we are more than happy to listen, because these are untold stories, but somewhere Uma ma'am might have researched it, right? Somewhere it was told, somewhere it was written. For them to be written, for them to be shared, expressed, you have to speak your story. And here we are not talking about showcasing yourself, but just talking about the pain that you go through, or the struggles that you have gone through, or any instance that you would like to share with us that has helped you reach where you are today. Quickly, one after another. Who's coming up? Shri Krishna.
सोचना पड़ेगा.
In stock market, if it is untold story, it is often called as insider trading. You search. Go ahead. Who's coming up? Madhu. The important thing is we need to let ourselves be vulnerable. What will people think? Because everyone, each one of us have had our challenges, have had our stories of struggles which nobody knows. And I think we, at least, except for Ravi, I believe each one of us here have met each other for at least I would say 20 sessions. except for Sri Lakshmi also, maybe she's joined us in the recent past. But other than that, I believe each one of us have met and interacted and known a little bit of each other for a long time. Akanksha will give a yes, because I know she can say this more than me. She knows more people, I believe. Lakshmi, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, my career actually first initially after 8 hours they used to go home, right? After 8 hours I used to there actually that shift time they can ask me, this is your shift, you should do the assigned work. After shift hour they can't ask me. Then that is my learning hours. First, since I'm bachelor, so what I used to do, I used to roam and I used to talk to the experienced people where and all there. I used to gather knowledge. So like that only I have learned actually. They all asked me, first I attended an interview. Actually at that time I have a 6 years experience at a 9 years actually they asked me. Then I told this is, you can ask me, I will tell. If not clearing means okay, like that. Nowadays I am getting scared to attend interview. If I attend an interview, I will got select. So that is started calling me. So that's the reason I'm not ready. Yesterday, day before yesterday, I given interview, and yesterday I got the offer letter. They started pushing me. You have to come and join, like that. So I'm confidently telling, daily basis I'm learning. Still I'm touching with a lot of friends. Reason I'm spending a lot of time for learning. Actually, whatever I'm learning, how I'm doing, because of experienced person, I used to call them. Again, YouTube, my friend is there, one more friend. Whenever I have doubt, I will ask them. Again, Google, Sundar Pichai, I don't know, but I know that Google search. So I used to search that one. So that like that only I'm doing everything whenever I am. Now actually one more thing is that a lot of takeaway today. I need to very big thank to Uma ma'am and you. Actually today something I impressed this section, I can tell, impressive, actually very impressive. I learned a lot of things. Actually, Pratana madam, I got doubt actually. Uma madam and Pratana madam directly chatting like that. Whenever she is telling answer again. So great knowledge. I actually what is happening, I don't know what. But actually great things. Actually, I need to update myself. Some like this apart from my career. Very impressive. Thank you for this.
But the only commonality you'll find here is both are teachers. So they've been in that world. They've been in that world.
Still they're teaching us. Still they're teaching us. Thanks
yes,
for.
Uma ma'am is a teacher anyways, and Pratna ma'am is now the head of the teachers. So you can look at it in that way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lakshmi. I think wonderful. I like that statement. I'm worried about giving interviews because I'll get selected. If I get selected, I'll have to think of what to do next. Thank you for sharing that. Who's coming up next? Madhu?
No, I mean, we have learned from every stages from everyone, different people and different things. As I think earlier also I mentioned that some people very quiet, but they do the work. Action shows like some people will talk more but do less, but some people are very quiet, but the work, it really matters a lot. So I mean, from some of the my old colleagues or some people, I initially judged, a kind of prejudge, what this person is very silent and maybe he don't know, something like that. That's the reason he's afraid to share. But after later that I noticed that that's my wrong assumption, that he's much more knowledgeable, that which I cannot think it up to his level later. So that's the reason I mean we learn from every stage and every person. We have to grow such a way. So luckily in every stage we learn from personally and from career, from every person there is something good we can learn it. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you Madhu for that. Who's coming up next? Sri Lakshmi.
So, I mean, I can tell about my story. My career it's like a kind of breaks, a lot of breaks in my career. So, I mean, even I'm not engineering techie or something. So I did a commerce graduation, but still I'm passionate about my studies and I mean, book reading or whatever it is, I'm passionate about. So after that, after the marriage, I almost 7 to 8 years I was housewife, and I live with my husband and my kid. And then I realized and I wanted to do something. So then I started my studies, and I mean, in between, I tried many things, but so finally, I reached. I thought of doing the computer education and all, and I did my MCA computer applications, and I did coaching to the students in computer institutes, and along with that, it's all my passion. I think maybe supporting it only comes from my husband, and it's not. I mean, what I'm saying is, though parents and parent-in-laws, they are not with me. So its entire support is only from my husband I got, and I did my master's, and along with that, I gained experience in coaching institutes, and then I joined in a small company, local company. There I get some experience, and then I alone came to Hyderabad for searching the job, and I got it. And then after 1 or 2 experience, I luckily get in a good organization like Microsoft. So that is how my story. This is a kind of what I wanted to. I mean, I get some pain in between, but this is how I there in now. Yeah.
Thank you, Sri Lakshmi. For everyone's information, I met Sri Lakshmi at one of the talks that I gave in Microsoft as a part of Toastmasters and their Day of Learning event. And from there, she has joined. That in itself talks about the story that she had shared today, about how she is wanting to learn from wherever she can. And I believe kudos to her for the story that she has. We didn't know. And today when she has shared it, we get to know, and the respect for her only goes up. Thank you, Sri Lakshmi, for sharing that story. And I think that is a story that everyone should listen, because that inspires people. Thank you for sharing that story, Sri Lakshmi.
Thank you.
Who's going up next? Because Dinesha, if your food is done, please join. Uma ma'am, would you like to share something?
I don't have any particular story to share, but I just want to say that I have kept my passion alive of teaching, even though I didn't get much opportunities to teach in various schools as a regular teacher. Off and on, whenever I get an opportunity, I definitely made use of it. And even now, I make use of the opportunity to help people in whatever possible ways I can. And I have kept the spirit of teaching alive in me. That passion is still there, and I would like to keep it alive.
Thank you, ma'am. I think a lot of your students being here is a testimony of how much dedication and passion that you have for the work that you do. Wonderful, and
because of Uma ma'am passion, I'm here.
I know.
Yeah.
So I know Madhu, Lakshmi, they're all here as a result of that. Thank you, Uma ma'am, for that. So anyone else would? Akanksha, Ravi, Pratna ma'am, if you'd like to share anything before we close.
Rahul sir.
Yes,
I would like to share one story.
Yes, dinner is done. Come.
Okay.
Go ahead,
sir,
Dinesha.
every day morning we have a 9 o'clock catch up with my team. Talking only about the business topic. I encourage my team to talk about their learnings of yesterday. What something they would learn apart from that business. Every day they started sharing. One of my colleagues yesterday, they shared one story that after completing their business over, he was standing in one of the bus station, and he saw one of the lady was physically handicapped, and he was walking in the road, and he was not able to walk. He's supposed to walk 2 kilometers. He get to know after interacting that lady. He personally went to that lady and he inquired. Then he realized it will take long time, and she having some financial problems. Then he offered in such a way that he called one of the auto driver, and he said, this is the challenges that lady is having. And he said, he is going to offer that whatever the fare. Then the auto driver said, whatever you want to offer, you offer that money to that lady. I will do that free drop to that lady, the 2 kilometers. And this what happened. And finally they said, like, whatever we want to do, first we have to correct ourselves, then society will correct. He come forward, then the auto driver come forward. Finally, that lady who got a double benefit. That's what the story said. It was like I inspired that story. And I want to conclude with the same story which has happened. One of the famous painter was from the Italy. At present, I was not able to recall that famous painter. And one of the common person was tried to get his appointment several times with the help of security. At the 5th attempt, the security went to that famous painter and approached a common man is trying to meet you for 5 minutes appointment, but it is the 5th time he's attempting. Finally, the security convinced the famous Italian painter and he convinced him to go and meet. Now, what happened in the conversation? He said, I have only 2 minutes. You can, whatever you want to discuss, discuss. He opened his 2 paintings from his packet in the bag and showed the famous painter this. And he said, after seeing the 2 paintings, when I was standing, he sat on his table and he curiously started seeing the paintings. Then he said, who wrote these paintings? He said, myself. And the second is taken 2 of these paintings and show this painting to that famous painter. He said, who wrote these paintings? He said, my only. He said, when I was child, I wrote the first paintings. At the age of 40, I wrote these 2 second paintings. He said, what made this difference? He said, the first painting he showed me, it was excellent. And the second painting he showed, it is like ordinary. He said, I didn't get the famous person like you who was appreciated during my childhood. If someone would have got appreciated during my childhood, I would have become famous. Finally, what I want to conclude, the appreciation or helping nature has to come at the right time. So everybody will get benefited. The people will reach wherever they want to reach. That's what I want to conclude, Rao sir.
Thank you, Dinesh. All the energy that was there from the food, from the special starters has come out now. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's a wonderful story. The support at the right time, the clap at the right time can take a long way. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Last person would like to share anything before we go to the close of the session?
Yeah, one thing because which I have learned out of my life experiences. One thing that whenever things are going well in your life, okay, then appreciate all the people who are involved, directly or indirectly. When things are going bad, make yourself responsible for that. Corner yourself and reflect back and work on that, whatever best you can do, because your actions are in your control. You can't control others' actions. So whenever things are going well, pull everyone, even if they are minute level also, if they have contributed for that betterment, pull everyone, appreciate everyone, make them responsible, or show your gratitude towards them. But when things are going wrong, there is common tendency that we start blaming everyone. We shouldn't blame anyone, and we have to reflect back on our own actions, and we should make ourselves responsible. What best I would have done in that situation to rectify. With that on principle, because in a very simple sentence in Hindi, they used to say, "Dam mein dam, apna dam." Bas, kisi ke liye kisi ko kuch gila shikwa nahi. Bas, do that and move ahead. Sky is the limit for you to achieve anything. That's it.
Thank you, Pratna ma'am. Wonderful share. With that, let me share one last story that I thought of while we shared about delegation. I've been a person who's been or wearing multiple hats, and the reason why I'm able to wear that is because of delegation and automation. I had one instance way back in a corporate situation where someone, when I told them as an IT person, why don't you automate it? Why don't you automate it? He said, if I automate it, I'll be the first person who will be fired from this because they don't need me anymore. And that situation is where I learned the lesson, where when you think that you're stuck in doing something, and you're stuck in doing something because nobody else can do it, you are also being stuck to that position from the next thing that can happen. In our business, I've always had this instance where I've tried to always free myself up. from the accounting, automation, the billing, whatever work that I'm involved in our business, a large part of it is where every instance that I'm working, whatever new comes up, I make sure to see and how I can automate the entire process. And once it is automated, the challenge is someone can make a mistake if there are 10 variables. If I leave only 1 or 2 variables open, I can delegate. That automation is where my strength lies. And that delegation is where my trust lies. With whatever you're doing, if I'm able to do all the things which I'm doing right now, it's only because all things which are required to be happening in different facets are happening automatically. Or someone is doing it with the process that I've set in place. So always remember, for the people who are, whatever you are thinking, you might think that if I automate this, if I teach this to someone, I might be replaced. They might copy me and move ahead. They might take over me. They might backbite me. Kind of what I would say is that they could challenge me and move ahead of me.
Overriding you.
Override me. The limitation that you have right now is that when you're not doing it, you are stuck. You are stuck at the same place that you are and whatever you're doing. For that very reason, understand, nobody can chase you and pull you down until you are constantly moving up, until you're constantly doing the next thing. I have this doubt always, this kind of fear. Let me admit it over here. I have this fear in my business, wherein if I'm automating everything, tomorrow my younger brother is this, eventually if the business is separated, will my brother need me? He can put an accountant and he can replace me for the work that I'm doing. But if I think that he should be dependent on me and keep doing for me and myself, I'll be stuck. We won't be sitting at 97 Saturday night if that was the case. If I'm able to do Toastmasters today, if I'm able to do the business today, I'm able to do Speak Up today, I'm able to do Living Life today, it's because at all places I've trusted the fact that for me to move forward, I'll have to automate and delegate and teach people. Today, whatever billing was done earlier by only me or my brother, today my entire staff can do that billing because I've automated the process. But I have to trust that tomorrow I won't be kicked out of the business because I'm not required there. But I'm able to scale up, look at what can be done more. That is the thinking for which my brother will trust that I need to be a part of the business. Because the next leg of innovation, the next thought process of what we can do better, how we can improve, he has to trust me that I am working on that. And I've done whatever we are doing right now, being done by the employees who are there. So the trust factor, that is a fear that I've always had, but I've come to that terms with the reality that if I say that I have to be visible to the business for 8 hours a day doing accounting or billing or something, where will I get time for the other things in life? So
yeah, Rahul, it is true. It is true, really. Actually, I was used to feel like this is 2.5 years ago. So after that, I automated. My boss used to say always, I automated time and attendance, so Zingature, recruitment module, PMS module. So in HR function, lot of modules I automated. So ELC separation module. So he used to say me, he used to ask me, you want this can be do, letter can be generated instead of you doing manually. Yeah, it is so. So even I used to think this way, pura ho gaye to mera kya rahega. So Power BI, now Power BI came to market. So Power BI, so सब कुछ attrition analysis, everything वही करेगा. So I used to think that way. अगर Power BI करे तो मेरा job MIS, HR MIS, मेरा job ही नहीं रहेगा. I used to think that way. So it is true, 100% it is true. That is right. These all things I automated now. So still my job is there. Yeah.
See, the problem is once the people who are there around you,
manning hours is saved. Manning hours.
So the idea is today, even if I'm giving attendance for 2 hours in the business is still running. I might be visible less, but my work which was to be required to be done, it's being done. So in whatever work that you're doing, look at how you can automate, and eventually the one who's scaling up in the career will be the person who's able to give solutions. They don't want workers who are just doing what is required to be done. They are looking for people who can upscale, solve problems, and they will be the ones, if not in that company, if that company doesn't appreciate it, someone else will. For the people who are able to upscale and keep challenging the status quo and growing, that is where the growth lies. So
we
I
have
have learned
18
this.
we have 18 employees across 10 plants. So it is every HR used to enter the manual in Excel. So this thing I implemented, appreciated. I used to think that time. My God.
Thank you, Ravi, for that. So yeah, with that, I think we're already at 10:39, and let's come towards a close for this session. The reason why we had this open mic about the story that nobody knows is that we need to speak, we need to listen. I love that practice which someone shared, where I think Dinesha shared, where you talk about what is your learning from yesterday. That is where you get an opportunity to listen to stories, and stories will have a superpower to teach you lessons which nothing else can. After a certain period of time, the stories about what you've done won't matter, because that is all being done anyways. Listening to stories from here, there, that is where the power of cross learning can happen. Today, if I've shared some story, might not be you are an entrepreneur, you might be an employee, you might be in a different world, but if you're able to reflect and get the lesson, the essence of that story into your life, it's because we all as humans have cross learning opportunity. My entrepreneurship example can work out for someone who's into teaching or someone who's a student. The point is, we need to speak stories and keep exploring the lesser known stories, because it's not all beautiful. It's a pain that people have gone through, the struggles they have gone through, the situations and how they're thought while they have gone through the journey is where the real meat of learning is. After success, when everyone will be there, everyone will be clapping, this movie super hit, this movie super hit, this, that, whatever career, whatever profession that you are in, everyone will be clapping after it is done. But look at what happened for that to happen. So with that, we come towards an end for this session, and let me close the usual way. We'll stick around after that. Saturday nights have never been this beautiful. For the last 97 Saturday nights now, it's been an honor to be sharing our perspectives, listening to your perspectives, and gaining new perspectives. Thank you for the love that you keep coming back every Saturday night and adding life to our life and to every member of this community. See you next Saturday, 9 p.m. again for yet another interesting session. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.